you know, we're all here for this topic that is causing a lot of concerns and a lot of mixed emotions within our communities here in the islands, within the country, and even people abroad. I just want to let everyone know that this forum is going to be live streamed, so it's not only for people here in the FSM and just here for the national campus. It's going to be live and broadcasted to everyone abroad, living abroad. And today we have His Excellency President Manny Mori. Let's all give him a warm and his fellow mates in the delegation. So the topic here is going to be on the two-state separation initiative that's been happening for months now. So I'll open the floor to President Manny Mori and his delegation to speak on that behalf. Thank you.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay, thank you so much for being here on a very short notice. We're supposed to be here speaking Chuukish so that whoever listens to what we're going to say from outside, they would not understand. But interestingly, we have non-Chuukish speakers, so therefore we have to mix Chuukish, English, Japanese, and Ponape. Seriously, I'm very, very glad to have the students respond to our request to have this meeting. And this would be our first meeting, official meeting for the initiative. We've had in Guam, but it's just more or less part of Hawaii, more part of the 2023, which we have already presented to you in previous meeting. I don't exactly know where to start because there's so much information that are still processed, and I don't know how to organize them right now. This initiative, I understand, is a response to our program, or action plan rather. It is called 2023. The 2023, if you recall, when we were here in the same room but facing the other way, the deficit that we projected for the entire nation is about 41. Chuuk's share of that 41 is about 19 to 21 million dollars. I don't recall, but it's in that neighborhood. So when we move forward with this plan, Chuuk decided instead of moving with the plan, they want to opt for secession as a response to, or as a response to the deficit. So before I continue, I want to disclose to you the reason why I chose COM to be one of the first ones. It's because we want you to join us. We want you to vote no on this initiative. How many of you from Chuuk? Can I see hands? These two are not raising their hands. Okay, I'm very glad to see a good turnout of Chuukish. So let me speak a little bit in Chuukish. Pokiterabi to e Chuuk, irapatawa to pororongiri, metis pari poros. Kabit. Very good. Some of very good. Osokunesiri mete office. I want to Kurakabi what Facebook. We should sit Kurakabi in person. So today is my chance to eyeball you here instead of Facebook. But the issue is very, very important because the I would say the entire government, Chuuk government, is moving forward with this initiative to ask people to vote yes for Chuuk to separate from the federation. The national government, on the other hand, we cannot. Me as president, I cannot. And I would presume that all my colleagues in the government have read the Constitution. When we raise our hands to uphold the Constitution and all laws and regulations of the FSM, that pledge and that pledge also include to promote unity. So this one talks about separation. The Constitution is very clear that we as leaders and officials, elected officials of the government, must promote unity. It is for that reason that I have organized a task force to be in charge of promoting a no vote, no to this initiative. In March 3rd, the people in Chuuk and around the Federation, including United States, Guam, Hawaii, wherever Chuukis are, they will be asked to vote on this initiative, yes or no. If it's yes, they will move quicker, faster, with more force to try to secede. If we kill that initiative on March 3rd, then maybe they would stop. So our strategy is to kill that initiative on March 3rd, and I expect you to please vote no for this initiative. Not only vote, but I also ask you, can you please ask your families and friends, wherever they may be, Chuuk, here, Guam, Hawaii, United States, wherever they can vote for this initiative for Chuuk to secede from the Federation. We must vote no to stop it. If we don't vote no, then they would take the legal path of trying to secede. One of these legal paths is to try to amend the Constitution, which is very difficult. It requires 75% of voters and 75% of the states, which is amount to 3 of the states out of 4. Now, why don't we just allow Chuuk to go through that process? To me, it's a waste of time, and it is a big distraction to what we are trying to do right now, is to work on the 2023 action plan. They are spending money to promote the secession instead of spending this money to promote 2022 and work on their basic needs. Scholarship for you. Improve the schools in Chuuk. I know you love Chuuk just as much as I do. Let's put aside this sentiment and vote no. It's not that if you vote no, doesn't mean that you don't like Chuuk or whatever. Actually, when you vote no, it's your expression of the way Chuuk. So I have seen some of you on Facebook. You're not quite sure, and I'm not quite sure what you're going to vote for. That's why I decided to take this time for us to discuss this. And I would really like to have some questions from you, because I'm not going to cover this entirety. The premise that they're moving on is if we move out from this federation, we may be able to get money from other sources to address the $21 million deficit. Keep that figure in your head because we're going to be talking about it a lot of times. So, it's $21 million deficit for Chuuk. Is it on? For Chuuk State. And I'm not even following, I'm sorry, I didn't know if we have they also criticized the federation or the national government. They said being with the federation, it hampers them from promoting and implementing economic and social development. But the biggest fear and lie that I see them talking about is, they said, even if we become a federation, we would still be able to retain our relationship with the United States under a separate compact. And that is where I say it is totally incorrect. No one has even talked to the United States. Would you be able to, or would you be willing to negotiate with the United States if Chuuk moves up? They have not, and we have tried to ask the United States government if they would be willing to allow Chuuk to move out and still negotiate a separate compact. The United States said no. The representative said we cannot talk about that. That is an interference with your local politics, and they're not going to talk about it. It takes so much time for them to go up to their highest level of government for them to answer. Now let's just look at what is going on with the United States as a reality. Normally the Democrats are generous in giving foreign assistance. The Republicans now take over 2 of the houses in the Congress, U.S. Congress. Palau has already had its compact approved 3 years ago. Palau, they have not gotten a penny from their compact. They have continuing resolutions. The United States cannot pay new money to Palau because of this problem with the U.S. Congress. The Republican controls the House of Representatives. So any money that would go out from the Treasury of the United States must go through the Republican-controlled House of Representatives. Those are some of the realities that somehow they fantasize that Chuuk can still negotiate a new compact with the United States government. The United States government, I would presume, would ask Chuuk, what is wrong with the current compact? If you want to negotiate with us, tell us what's wrong with it. Please ask that question to any of these folks. What is wrong with it? I don't see what is wrong with it. The only problem is the funding are too restrictive. You cannot take money and switch around, or there's so much rigorous reporting and inspections and accounting of this money. It's not like the first compact. Let's go down to Chuuk. Underground. You've been running in Pohnpei. They have paved roads. What else you want to talk about? Yeah. Things are a little bit orderly in Pohnpei. In Chuuk, I am very sorry to say that even the road has not progressed as everyone would like. Chuuk still has no electricity beyond water. Only the center has electricity. And Chuuk still commute every day from COM-FSM and Chuuk to water. In summary, things on the ground in Chuuk are not good compared to Pontokusania. So on that score, I can understand why there is dissatisfaction, expression of moving out. But that is not the way we're going to answer this. Our forefathers, through the Constitution, set up ways to deal with government business, to help the people, is to negotiate with one another, talk with one another, talk with our partners. They chose this path, is to secede. And I would like to, I don't want to talk too much because you already know. Chuuk want to secede for reasons I briefly mentioned. There are legal aspects involved, and I would, if you ask those questions, I would allow, or I would ask our legal people to also, I and others would work together on answering economic and social issues for which question you would be asked. The biggest complaint that Chuuk has against the national government is that we have so much money from fishing fees. They think that it should be shared with Chuuk. Now, in the early 2000s or late 90s, there was a lawsuit between the states, all 4 states, against the national government as to who should control the money from fishing. All these fish are caught in the EEC. The court decided that it should be controlled by the national government. And so they said, well, you guys are sitting on tons of money while we don't have the money. I can assure you there's a lot of money that has been channeled down to the states. To their satisfaction? No. Not to their satisfaction. Because they have their own budgets, we have our own budget. Part of the money has been set aside, and we're building this trust fund. The trust fund that we have built for the 4 states, not for the national government, because we really do not have a state. We're just a facilitator in this federation. It's more than $50 million right now, and that is from the fishing fees. There are also funds that are also taken out from this. First of all, the national government must survive, and we need to have a budget. But if you look at all these projects that I know you and all of us have complained about, is what we call public projects. They all come from these funds. And Chuuk complains that they have not received one single penny from the fishing. But this money goes to all the 4 states, these public projects. I think the question is it our money or is it Congress money? It is the national government's money that goes down to the states in the form of public project. But nevertheless, it comes from fishing fees. So we have every year, once or twice, Congress appropriate projects from the fishing fees goes down to the states. Chuuk alone has stand to be corrected, but around $25 million within the 5-year period in public projects alone. For Chuuk alone, So there's money going down to the states in the form of public project. What they don't like is the money being controlled still when it reaches the states. What they want is these fishing fish to go directly into the treasury of, say, the states, of Chuuk, for instance. So it is not so much that the money is not trickled down to the states. It is who controls the money when it goes down. It's really boils down to who controls. It boils down to power. That's what it boils down to. It's power. Who has the power to control this? It's not so much the economic. They can misuse, that's a different story. But nevertheless, the money goes down to the states. What are the other issues? We have told them that the ships that service all the states, they're all paid for by the national government. All assistance that they ask, technical or otherwise, when we deal with our development partners, United States, China, Australia, European Union, it costs money for us to engage, and it also comes out from this place. The tax that we collect is not even sufficient to operate their governments nor our government. So we have another program now from the insurance, captive insurance. He is one of the board of directors. If you want to claim, be my guest. It's a very successful program. Thank you, Joe. Just this year, we got $22 million from that program. And the more money we receive, it appears, the more the states complain. But we share. Imagine that $50 million in trust fund that we built only for the states. Okay, I'm not going to promote the national government, so I better stop here. But let's focus on the issues that are very important to us. They have to the initiative, keeping in mind that the whole Chuuk state has been mobilized to rally for the people to vote yes. And we're just starting to organize our task force to launch a counter, action to tell everyone to vote no. So we may look, it appears that we may lose, but with your help, I can assure you, we will win. Especially with college, the students, I think we can win because your future is really at stake. Those of us who are, we call it otoro, that means old. We have few years, but you still have plenty years to go. If we don't deal with this issue by voting it down, Chuuk would be encouraged to move forward using this as an excuse to disrupt our nation building. And any nation building, our forefathers saw this to be very challenging task. It's to build our nation. They never imagined that it's going to be easy, nor anyone, any country, to build its country. It's always difficult and challenging. And this one is just one of those challenges. You must face it. You must deal with it. That's why I need your help. Please vote no. Go out on Facebook, go out and call up your parents, your relatives, and your friends. The future of Chuuk is at stake. And then they would ask you, then how come our leaders are so hyped up about voting yes for it? Then what are you going to say? That's a good question. Because they do not want the hard work on 2023. 2023 is a plan that it requires hard work and sacrifice. What our leaders in Chuuk want is the easy way to move out and hope that our development partners will help them with money so they can develop. I can assure you our development partners would, if they come with $100 million today, they will ask you, where is your plan to spend this $100 million? So it doesn't matter. They would still develop a plan. They would still develop a plan. They still have to work with the issues. The number one issue in Chuuk is land. No matter how you twist it, it's land. Boils down to land. If they don't get the land issue straightened out, no matter how much money is available to Chuuk, they cannot develop. And what is that land issue? Land issue is that both the administration of land is lacking, meaning they don't have people who are certified, surveyed for anyone outside of Chuuk to accept the land. For instance, the sector grants that build schools and dispensaries, they would require that the land on which the schools or dispensary will be built must have certified survey and must have a clear title. Very specific. Otherwise they build and then landowners come and dispute, and then what happened to the school? It's useless. So unless they deal with this issue, development in Chuuk is not going to happen. Believe me. And you can write it down and accuse me for lying to you. But that's a fact. If they don't have, if they cannot deal with the issue on that, there is no way United States, Australia, Japan, China, EU, national government will be able to build anything in Chuuk without clear certificate of title. If you don't believe, you can ask former Attorney General of Chuuk how we deal with the land issue on the road. The road is still built today, but maybe we should not talk about that incident in Chuuk. But it was a very emotional period. Chuuk blamed us that all the documents for land for the road have all been transferred to national government. I just happened to review all these documents. They lied. Only 40% of the easement was sent to PM. So it is difficult to get easement, straighten out the land issue in Chuuk. That's why there is very slow progress in Chuuk, aside from other issues. So I'm going to stop here. Any of you want to bring up an issue before we ask questions and try to answer?
Thank you, Mr. President. Before I say anything, I'd like to pay my respect to the President, his staff, Vice President of the college. I see some of my legal colleagues are here. I also want to respect you. Most of all, I want to pay my respect to you all, students. I feel that I needed to add to what His Excellency had presented as to where we're heading with this under our laws, under the laws of this country. President has asked that you vote no. And I will only ask that you vote no because it's the law. In some posting that I've reviewed, I don't know whether those can be verified. But there has been question asked by our relatives in Chuuk, asked of the Commission whether this move or this initiative is constitutional. Two responses that I had come across. One was the answer is to be, the question is to be answered by the Department of Justice, the department that I work for. Unfortunately, the Commission had not had the courage or courtesy to ask that question to the department. So we have not responded to that, or responded to that question as presented in Chuuk. The other response that I came across was that, oh, this thing is legal because, yeah, the state had made an effort to secede once. And Pohnpei State also made an effort to secede once. And based on that, they said this is legal. But I wanted to inform you today that the only reasons why Yap and Pohnpei did not go any further was because it was the law. They had argued basically in their presentations, they meaning the Commission, in their meetings with people in Chuuk and abroad, that the FSM Constitution does not prohibit secession. In other words, they have said to the people that the Constitution did not say anywhere or expressly state anywhere in the provisions section of the Constitution that the state may or shall not secede. I'm making this statement today that is a wrong statement. That is a terribly wrong statement, a misleading statement to the people about the Constitution. There are two provisions that in our Constitution. The first provision you will find, and you can go back if you don't have that section with you, you find it in Article 2 of our FSM Constitution. That Article 2 basically said and instructs us all that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. In other words, the Constitution is the highest law on top of any law in this country. The laws that passed by Congress, the laws that passed by states, including the state constitution. The FSM Constitution is supreme. The sentence that is important for us to know today, that section also stated that any act of government that is inconsistent with this Constitution is invalid to the extent of that. Now, then we go to Article 13, Section 3 of our Constitution. And I want to read that from the Constitution because I don't want to misquote this, because this is important for our purpose. Article 13, Section 3 of the Constitution said, and I've seen this mentioned in some of the posting in Mike 7. That article provides, it is the solemn obligation of the national and state governments, to uphold the provisions of this Constitution and to advance the principle of unity upon which this Constitution is founded. They have said that there is no express provision in the Constitution that says no secession. I hope my colleague will agree with me. The Constitution document, as framed by our forefathers, is a positive document. There's nowhere in the document that you will find you shall not. So the provision in there that provides we should and we shall uphold the principle of unity expressly stated that there is no way out. In essence, what what this provision says. It replaced a proposal in the convention when they were talking about this issue of secession. It replaced an express provision that provides no secession. We can say it's a compromise provision to express no secession. But we are to live with what is being said here, and we are to uphold it. How is the initiative conflict with this provision? We all know that the initiative was based on a state law that authorizes organization of a commission to look at political status of Chuuk. It is in conflict with this provision because political status of a state is a national issue and it's regulated by the Constitution. You will find in our Constitution, I believe in Article 1, that already dictate what are the islands and what are the districts that comprises this country. The Constitution said those island districts that ratify this Constitution will become a state under the FSM. I don't know how many of you that were born in 1978. That was the year that the ratification process went through all of the island districts. And you know that Palau did not ratify the Constitution, so they find their own way. We also know that Saipan and Marshall Island did not ratify the Constitution. Only Pohnpei, Chuuk, Yap, and Kusai. So we have already made that commitment. We already declared that this Constitution is the supreme law of the land. In the provision of the Constitution and in other history that you will read, it talks about how important it is to form unions of islands to become one nation. And that was the principle that was talked about in the Constitution. The principle of unity that was based on putting together minds and heart of different islanders. We are not supposed to put Chuuk next to Pohnpei, but to put our minds and heart together as we all voted on the Constitution. And we had already made that commitment in 1978 that we are going to become an independent state of the Federal State of Malaysia, a nation that composed and comprises of 4 states. So it talks about political status. But there is no other political status that Chuuk State needs. We already have one. Chuuk is already an independent state. Chuuk is already a state of the FSM. Those are the political status. So, question that I've been asked, can a state secede from this union? My answer to you today is no. They can go as far as they can go with this initiative, but the law as we understand it today, there is a legal path for amendment to the Constitution. But there is no legal path for a secession. I think I will stop here, and if you have any question to clarify what I said, I would be willing to give it a try. But it is the law. It is the law that secession is not allowed. You will find the history of the Kankan Journal or the book that record the proceeding of the Constitutional Convention that developed this document. They talk about that. They said secession is not allowed. Thank you, and if you have any question, I will try to answer.
So that's the legal aspect of our Constitution. In March 3rd, it only requires that initiative 50% of the eligible voters or those people who are going to vote on that day, 50% plus one vote. It is not very difficult to beat the 50 plus one vote. But if we don't vote, if we just say, oh, I think we're gonna win, we're gonna lose. Unless you go vote, we're just gonna lose. Okay? So I want you to please vote on March 3rd for your candidates as well as this initiative. Vote it down. Vote down this initiative. No. For your candidates, that's your God-given rights to vote whoever you choose. Okay? So let's go to questions and answer before your lead is taken away by someone else. Can we go to question and answer? If anyone cares to ask question to clarify what you have been hearing or what have you been reading on Facebook and where else, whatever else you can speak Chuuk. How many of you would vote no? 1, 2, 3, 4. I still see many people in the. Okay, how many of you would still want to vote yes? Okay, how many of you would vote maybe so? Those are the people that are not going to the polling place. Please go and vote. Express your votes by voting it down. Use your right. Any question why you should not vote? Yes. Speak a little bit louder so we can hear you.
Vote and put a yes. Yes. Can we leave it blank? Presenteki, you vote and put a yes.
Oh, 이렇게 책이 바로.
이게 책이 바로.
check.
이렇게 책이. Everybody cross it. Oh, if you don't check or cross, it's voided. You have to vote yes or no, but you can check or you can use that.
I think, let's say, in Congress, if we vote on an issue, it will be those that vote yes, those that vote no. The rest of us that we abstain from voting automatically become yes. That's what she says.
No.
If
No.
she decides not to vote, will her vote be automatically become yes?
No, but if you don't vote no, and the leadership in Chuuk work very hard, and they win because you didn't vote. You actually didn't check one or the other. So you must please go and vote. Don't expect others to vote and you just stay because you think that if you don't vote, it will be expressed.
Our question, is considered a yes vote. Is that what you ask? It's invalid. You have to check yes or no.
It's a throwaway vote. I mean, ballot. You
And
must
it
check.
won't be counted as
What's the
as a
point of
vote.
going into the vote and not voting?
Aku pesihkan kami cosiku ngobet cegi. No. Apa arwata ayo becegi ro box no. Sab to sab cegi. Puir picture orang agak itu Chuuk. Betul berban lagi ke badan kira-kira check either box rubber check yes. Ira rafe ngasih waktu ira pun check no baru no.
That question is very important. At least we get educated on where things are going. Okay,
I have a question as to who's going to be the one counting the votes. Is it the national or is it the state commissioners? Or is the national going to assist them when it comes to counting the votes?
Question, Mr. President, is who will be counting the votes? State, national, or combination?
no, it's just a state. This is a state issue, and the national government doesn't get involved in this. Only the Congress election or the national election, which involves the members of Congress. That's the only one we would be involved in. As far as this initiative, it's entirely Chuuk State. Another follow-up question. Translate that, Chief. Go ahead.
So as you said, you spoke about how in the Constitution it's written that it's against the law for secession. So why is it that the commissioners are going through with this if it's against the law?
The Constitution states that it is against the law, if it is against the Constitution. Why are the commissioners proceeding with putting it in front of the people?
Let me answer that before he answers. Because lawyers always have two answers, but there's only one correct one, right?
Yeah.
That's why we have defense, or what do you call it? There's always two lawyers on both sides of the issue. So can you please explain?
He had to call to get the answer. Got it now, so.
Yeah, I got the answer. You asked if it is against the law, why the issue is on the ballot. Well, first you have to know that this is a question. This is a question that is developed by the state to do it in the state. The question that is being asked, there's nothing, as we see it now, there is nothing legal about asking that question, illegal about asking that question. Did that answer your?
So as you guys said, you spoke about how it's against the law, it's written in the Constitution for a state to go through secession.
Right.
So our question is, why is it a law and yet why is it that the Chuuk State Commissioners are going through with this when it's a law? When it's against the law?
I wish my friend from Chuuk are here to answer that, but our advice to the government, national government now is, it is a question that is being presented and expressed to the people to answer. There is the violation of the Constitution is not yet occurred.
Let me answer that from a layman's point of view. I've seen postings on Facebook. The lawyer in Chuuk says because the FSM Constitution is silent on this issue, therefore it's legal for us to move for secession. But as our associate H.E. has mentioned, our Constitution is not developed in a negative manner where it would say does not or does. It emphasizes the word promote unity. It uses the word unity instead of secession. So they interpret the absence of the word secession, they think it's permitted. But actually it's not. We go back to the committee reports, and the committee that deals with, for the canton, that deals with this issue, clearly say secession is not allowed. But it's not in the Constitution. It is not posted in the Constitution as one of the articles. But in one of the articles, it talks about promoting unity within the nation. So that is the flip side of no secession, is to promote unity. It's the opposite of secession. Am I correct?
Can be the assistant AG also.
Okay, that's coming from a layman, not a lawyer.
My question is, will there be a day where the FSM will be able to stand alone?
Will there be a day when the FSM can stand on its own?
We are fully independent unless, what do you see that you think we're not independent? That doesn't qualify us being independent. Our reliance on financial assistance from other countries, or? So, am I correct to say that, to assume that you said economic independence? Okay, this is the very reason why we have to work hard. As I said, nation building is not easy. And we built our economy, we built our, what do you call it, institution. There is no country in the world that is purely economically independent. Globally, everyone is, what do you call it, integrated. I think what you may be thinking, how come we are asking money from the United States and we consider ourselves as independent, right? Yeah. It's true, that's a very valid question. But the money that we're receiving from the United States, it's payment for the denial for any other country to come that is not friendly with the United States or friendly with FSM. So it's not, we're not really begging, but it's something. But on the flip side, there are also countries that are very generous to FSM. Australia, EU, Japan, China. This is just part of developing a relationship with one another. But if you say we're going to be purely economically independent, maybe to a certain extent, but at this stage that we're still building our nation, we will continue to need the assistance of our development partners. Very soon we would reach a stage where we would need less of their assistance. That's our objective. By that time you guys are in office and you'll be working to make sure that we have less money to ask from other people. That is the reason why this 2023 plan, what we're trying to do on this 2023 plan is to be dependent less on foreign assistance. Okay? How many of you go to the stores and buy taro and corn and breadfruit? No, most of these stores stock food and stuff that are imported. Why? Because we have not been able to develop our agricultural and fisheries industry. And this is what we need to do under the 2023 is to make sure that we utilize our God-given resources. Okay, set aside that 2023. Any more question? There's a question there.
Somewhere in your speech you said if we voted no and then we actually won the no side, you said maybe they would stop. So do you think the commissioners would continue to pursue what their goal is? Try to persuade more?
If they say no, okay, will the secession proceed? Obviously not, but I guess
That would be the simple answer. You cannot proceed they cannot proceed any further because the people have spoken.
Is that the answer?
Let me just the commission, Chuuk commission had their plan to do what is to be done and what they're supposed to do if the vote is yes. They have not indicated anywhere in there what I have read what they will do if the vote is no. I joined in other presentation that if the vote is no, they will stop. The president had said that they may find some other way to move forward to secession. And as I had said, our law does not allow secession. However they move, whenever they move to secession, the law is there. There is no legal pathway for a state of this country to move out. There is legal path for amendment to our constitution. There is pathway for adding in another island to the FSM or dividing the current state into another state within the FSM. There are rooms for that under our constitution, but there is no room for going out. The commitment, the firm decision had been made in 1978 when our fathers had ratified the constitution that prescribed we must all be united and we must forge to be united. We must strengthen the unity. And they did not provide any path for secession or any avenue where a state or part of this country can move out or separate from this union. The guideline is basically we work together regardless of our differences and forge ahead with a principle of unity that they already prescribed in the Constitution.
Can we just add that Ukraine and Kosovo, they do not take constitutional pathways. They resort to guns. And we don't want to do that. It's very dangerous and we would not even think of doing that. But it has happened. The United States, before they became independent, there was a civil war. And we cannot afford that. We're so tiny, we cannot afford it. So,
Yes, what legal action will be taken if the vote is yes?
There will be legal action to enforce the Constitution when we find it is necessary and needed. At this time, we still don't see the need of it. But if the vote is yes, and my understanding from the head of our office is that there will be legal action going to court. Something that you all might familiar with, some TRO, restraining order, to restrain any further action to move on secession. But that's the plan, that's in the plan.
there's a question back there.
At the end of this elective process, what will be other yours? Are we going to survive?
After 2023, we would still continue to exist and survive. Okay? What, do you think 2023 comes, we don't have any more money, we kaput? For your information, there is already a trust fund from the United States. They estimated that fund in 2023 to be $1.8 billion. The financial market a few years back went into turmoil, and then we lost substantial amount of money. Now it's catching up, but it would be short about $700 million out of the $1.8 million, leaving about $1.1 billion. At 6%, that's about 60 some million dollars. Okay? So we still have that money. But if you divide up among the 4 states, it is not enough. So we are taking actions to make sure that we have about $80 million right now we receive from the United States, both grants and sector grants and what do you call the other one? Federal programs. Maybe add up to over $100 million. But to make it short, we have that money, but it's not enough. And Chuuk has been projected to be short $21 million by 2023. Okay, but they will still have money from the trust fund, but it's not enough. They will be short 21. So what we have asked them to do is, the nation, is to pass that tax reform. That would give them additional money. We have also asked them to trim down the size of their governments because it's too big. So the expenditure for the governments are too big. We have also now asked them to develop the economy through this action plan, 2023 action plan. And this plan is the only critical plan because it has financial package to it. All plans in the past, there were no financial package. Altogether, I don't think we would solve all the problems, but we can reduce that. For Chuuk alone, we can reduce that $21 million to a smaller amount. But they still don't want that. They want to secede and hope that somebody will give them millions and millions of dollars. But the question is, even if they get money from any of our friends, they would still develop a plan how to use that money to develop Chuuk's economy, employment, and so forth and so forth. So they cannot escape developing a plan. And we have a plan. We hope that it will be adopted tomorrow by the leadership. But if they don't, then they would certainly, for sure, face $21 million deficit. If you remember in 2007, maybe some of you were not born yet, but anyway, if you were, Chuuk checks, government checks were bouncing all over the place, remember? And they blamed each other. So we went down and rescued them. National government went down and rescued Chuuk State from that financial catastrophe. That's why they survived until today. So don't think that 2023 is hopeless. No, we're working very hard on it, but Chuuk must also contribute because it has the biggest deficit as projected. Sure, Chief?
Thank you, Mr. President. The question about the nation surviving beyond 2023. Is everybody fairly clear on what happens in 2023? With regards to the compact? The compact of free association between the FSM and the United States lives in perpetuity. It lives on forever until both nations decide that they no longer want it. The compact itself endures. What happens in 2023 is the financial assistance package that comes from the United States ceases to exist. It goes away. So the economic assistance piece of this compact is what is in question in 2023, most particularly 2024 and beyond. And that is what the President's 2023 action plan is attempting to mitigate, is attempting to try and solve. Because you just heard the President talk about the trust fund. and the fact that it's not going to perform as expected. So instead of about a $1.8 billion windfall, it's going to be more along the lines of about 1 to 1.1, maybe $1.2 billion. But when you think of that number, keep in mind that it's not 1.1 or 1.2 divided by 4 states or 5 governments. It's because what we can utilize out of that trust fund are only the interest earnings on that trust fund. So it's not like in 2023 we can go and pull, 3, 4, 500 million out and go have a party, right? Because there are rules on the compact trust fund and what can be drawn down every year after 2023. So it's not, and it comes out to the first year after the economic assistance package ends, it comes out to about $50 to $55 million that can be drawn from that 1.1 billion, right? Interest earnings only. So now you get a little perspective of why the president is emphasizing the fact that it's still not enough. It's going to be short. And for Chuuk, it's going to be short by about 21 million. And all the states are going to be short as well, just not as much as the state of Chuuk at the moment. And so, knowing that now, the president's trying to put in place a 2023 action plan that needs to be endorsed by all the states of the FSM so that we can move forward to reduce that shortfall. That's the whole objective behind the 2023 action plan. Now, Chuuk decides, for example, that they no longer want to be part of this federation because, let's say, they have a better plan, or they think they have a better plan. It not only puts Chuuk in jeopardy, but it also puts the rest of the FSM states in jeopardy to move forward with a cohesive plan and cohesive, attainable actions at certain times and certain dates so that we can fix or attempt to minimize that problem in 2024. So that's all I wanted to add, Mr. President.
Thank you. If there are other audiences listening in, especially our brothers and sisters abroad, I want them to know that us in the national government, we work very hard on this strategic plan to make sure that we have employment. Because one of the reasons why our people have continued to migrate to the United States for health reasons, for schools, and for jobs. So it is incumbent on us, the leaders, national and state, to make sure that we create some jobs so that we can minimize or stop the migration of our people. If Chuuk opted for secession, you can see 50% more of the people who are remaining in Chuuk migrate again out from Chuuk. And that doesn't make sense. As a nation, it is incumbent on us, the leaders, to develop our economy first, so that we can improve the standard of living, provide jobs, incomes, before we opt for migration to other countries. And sooner or later they will come back. If they come back and the situation is worse, they will just return. What happens if they return and they can no longer accept the United States or wherever? Hit the limit. Any more questions?
President, this is a question from internet viewers in Hawaii. They're wanting to know if the national government will seek constitutional amendment to prohibit things like this in the future, or will it take paths to clear for independence for states if they want?
Okay, I will ask our attorney to answer that, but he already mentioned that there's no legal way for anyone, any states to secede. But to add, yes, there's room for it.
As a result of this, will the government take steps to prevent something like this from happening again? Is the question.
You're talking about the states, or state national government.
The national government.
I think there's plenty of room before he continues on the legal response. We just have to work very hard on developing the economy. At least this one is through the 2022. Because if people are satisfied with their standard of living, they don't normally move. The reason why so many people around the world are attracted to, say, the United States is because the United States is still the dream, you know, where you realize your dream. But if we can continue to develop our economy, at least we can stop this sentiment of secession.
If I understand the question, is the government planning to amend the constitution to allow what is being initiated in Chuuk?
No. To either prevent it
Or prevent it?
or take measures to make it allowable down the road.
There are three ways to amend the constitution. I have stated that the constitution now does not allow secession. And yes, it can be amended to allow secession. The three ways to amend the constitution is one, by popular initiative of the voters in the FSM, and of course constitutional convention, and also by statute, a law that will be passed by Congress to propose an amendment. That's the constitution can be amended, but there are legal paths to do that.
But not secession.
But not secession. We can amend the provision like the Title 13, Section 3. We can propose to amend that. But as it is now, there is no secession allowed.
Use the example. We're gonna try to amend for the dual citizenship. We can. Okay?
We
But
can
cannot
amend
the law for secession.
Good.
In addition to that question, a separate question is that, are you aware if Chuuk is using any compact funding to fund the commission?
No, I'm not. From what I heard, it's local revenue, Chuuk.
Okay, so if majority of the vote is yes, and the commissioners win, do the Congress and you as the president have the power to not to allow the secession to move on?
If it's yes,
Yeah, if they win, do the Congress and you as the president have the power not to allow the secession to move on? Just
I
like,
think
oh,
I think he just mentioned that we're planning to file a TRO, but TRO is to stop temporarily before going to court. So that is, I think that's what the Attorney General office is recommending. If they win and they still want to. Well, obviously, if they win, they would be encouraged to move. If they do, then we'll put a TRO and then go to court. Am I correct?
Correct, Mr. President. Now, as we know that there is a state constitution, right? Who was asking that question? And your question was whether the Congress or the President has the authority to stop that. I have mentioned earlier that the highest law on the land is the FSM Constitution. And of course the President and Congress, especially the President, is obligated to execute the provision and enforce the Constitution. That is the power that he has. And he can use that. And that's what I mentioned earlier, that we work under him. And you probably already instruct us. That's why we already have this plan in place. That's the authority of the President, to file an action in court to temporarily restrain this initiative to move. And as we understand, if the vote is yes, they will move on organizing, drafting a new constitution for the state of Chuuk. So you will probably have two constitutions of Chuuk. One that we have now, that came into effect from the authority of the FSM Constitution.
Okay, question here?
I have two questions. The first one is, would you clarify exactly who's going to be restrained? This restraining order, this temporary restraining.
The order to restrain will go directly to those people or group that are doing the action to move forward to violate the Constitution.
The second part of the question would be, why can't you take that action right now? Why do you have to wait till they voted yes in order to take that action?
I think I had answered that earlier. The reason why we are not taking any court action now is because we believe that it is not right yet to go to court, because of the fact that what is being done now until March is not to put a question to the people.
Expression of freedom of speech.
It's their freedom of expression under that period.
Still,
And the majority said yes for the plan. So will the national government still on
If the result of the question is yes, is the national government still going to assist students with financial assistance in their student endeavor?
if we count your vote and it's more, yes, I'll think about it. Of course we will continue. I see no reason why we cannot continue, but how long can we help if we run out of money? So you have to assist in the novel so that we can continue under this what do you call it, arrangement, which is the federation. If Chuuk moves out, you guys go down to a new College of Chuuk, Republic College of Chuuk or whatever. And what happens if it bankrupts 2 months later? Then what? You cannot come back here. Passport was throw away your passport. So if you have one. No, but seriously, let's vote for. Let's vote this initiative no, kill it, before they get encouraged to do something else. And I need your vote, all of it.
If I plan to rob a bank and I get caught trying to rob a bank, is that a crime? Compared to actually robbing a bank? So the question is planning.
Planning.
If you plan to rob a bank, planning to rob a bank, is it still a crime?
No, because you probably don't know where the door is. If you plan, it's just a plan. But if you put in action and actually get the money.
But if the only step after that is to take action, I mean, I think we're just trying to figure out why can't we just stop the order and then just end it there instead of wasting time to find a position. If the only step further after what they're trying to do is to secede, if that's the only thing they're trying to do, then why don't we just make it in the blood and get it over?
Once again, what is being put forth to the people on March 3rd to vote on is just what they think, and it's just a plan that we the legal people think and feel right now does not work going to court yet. There is not yet enough, or they have not taken the step yet to move in to change the constitution of Chuuk or replace the constitution of Chuuk and move back. But I believe what will really entice the legal people to move forward if there are really that big issue after March 3rd, like if people said yes, then we will go in and say, sorry, your yes cannot go.
But I think that's his question.
Yes.
if you already advise us that it will be illegal for them to move through, why can't we just stop the process now and not waste the time going through?
Can I just say, yeah,
I think
Because
if
we're-
I understand.
it is the expression that we don't want to stop now. The freedom of expression to say yes or no.
Okay, so another question I want to, where in the Constitution does it stipulate the rights of the people? We have a right of choice, right? That's the freedom of choice.
It's in both Chuuk State Constitution and EFC.
So if the people choose to secede, then it would be illegal to stop that secession. Would not?
Remember that after March 3rd, that's when they will draft something like a constitution, and still there will be vote on that constitution.
Can I take
Go ahead.
just a quick crack at that? It's a good question, and I understand, I think I understand where it's coming from.
Stop it now.
The states, each individual state of the FSM, have an inherent right to ask their population these kinds of questions. They do, and you cannot interfere with that. Because think of the flip side of this. If the results come out no, what would have been the purpose of filing anything to begin with, because it may not have been required? There's two ways this can come out, right? It can come out as a yes, it can come out as a no. If it comes out as a yes, believe me, the state of Chuuk has a long ways to go before realization and before implementation and before they are actually seceded if they are successful. They've got a long ways to go. This is not the yes vote comes in on March 3rd and a year down the road there's no more Chuuk in the FSM. It's going to take much more than that. The process is very involved. So now the flip side is, if it turns out no, then it probably at the very best it delays any further action or movement on this until it resurfaces again sometime in the future. So number one, we have to honor the state's rights to ask their citizens questions like this. Number two, it could come out no. And if it's no, then that's it, right? It's done for a while.
But don't encourage them not to go to vote. You better go and vote.
Well, Mr. President, I'm
Don't
not
take a
encouraging them
chance,
to
okay?
vote.
No, you're not encouraging, but I just want to make sure. Let's not take the chance that a yes vote is going to prevail. Because we don't want to go to court and file TRO. We have a lot of things to do more than going to court and spend time and money, buckle down in court. So, I agree. We just preempt it by voting, going in March 3rd and vote it down. Vote no.
Question here.
So if Chuuk does secede, what does the national government stand to lose? Or does the economic package get affected if Chuuk secedes from the FSM?
Repeat that again, read it again.
Does the economic package that's being given to us in the Compact for Free Association, does it get affected if Chuuk secedes from the FSM?
I think so, because there will be fight over the money, because first of all, Chuuk moves out, and I would presume that they would still claim part of this money.
The same amount of money will still be given
Yeah,
to the FSM.
but the national government would, and the rest of the state would say, you're no longer entitled to this money. So, there's this problem, but I don't know if I answered the question. Yeah, you think you...
I'll probably defer to the legal attorney, but I think what is important to remember is the parties to the compact involves only the FSM government and the US government. It's not Chuuk State. So when it comes to the share of the economic assistance, it's FSM share. So if the AG wants to add something to it, but that's the most important thing to remember. The parties to the treaty only involves the FSM government and the US government.
That's a very important question.
Because is the package decided based upon population?
Yeah.
So the population will decrease in Chuuk seats, right?
But if Chuuk moves out, Chuuk only has share as part of this federation because it was part of the agreement of the compact of free association. Okay, if it moves out, then it's no longer part of that entitlement. That's what they argue, and they are saying that the United States would obviously give us trust fund, our share of the trust fund, and others. But the lawyers would argue you were entitled to it as part of the compact of the association. Once you move out, you have to deal with the United States with another compact, and that's what they want, a different compact with the United States. Quite frankly, I don't see how the United States is going to negotiate with Chuuk, because first it would ask, what is wrong with this compact? And why do we have to get into another negotiation when there is an ongoing compact? Unless both parties decided to get out from it. So these are just presumption on their part that they would continue to negotiate and get something from the United States. What happens if the United States say, okay, you really want to move? No more immigration. Then what? To Chuuk. No more immigration for Chuuk to go to the United States. And Chuuk will say, why? Because we don't like the compact impact. You know how much they pay compact impact? It's about $30 million. So there's complication with going to negotiate with the United States. And the United States obviously would ask, why aren't you satisfied with what you have under the current arrangement? They would always say, because the national government has not helped us, has not given us their share of the money under the compact. Because we have, and this is, they always say, because we have more than 50% of the population of the nation. But quite frankly, when you look, there's more Chuukis leaving Chuuk more than any other state, by percentage and by actual number. So the United States will still say that's not a valid reason why you want to negotiate another compact. Even us, we don't want to touch this current compact because of the immigration issue. Guam and Saipan and Hawaii, they will be so happy. And they have representative in the United States Congress to lobby against that kind of issue. So, but we don't want to touch that just yet. Let's see what's going to happen March 3rd. March 3rd, they pass, yes. There's so many things that we kick it. And first thing we would do is TR. Especially because we care for your education. My guess is if the yes vote prevails in March, even college is going to be affected. College will be affected because we shared that money from the United States. And the United States is not going to have another compact to divide up the money. No, they say just remain with the compact. Whatever you are not satisfied with, deal with the 3 states. That is, I guess, what the United States is going to say. But I read on, I'm going to say, I read Facebook and I go up on Facebook. I read on Facebook, they said, well, these are just hypothetical stuff that the national government is talking about. Because we have checked with the United States representative. They said they have checked with the United States representative, and the United States is willing to negotiate with Chuuk. Now, that is not true because I did talk to the ambassador about this issue. And she said, I cannot talk about that issue because it has to come down from very high up in their government. You have the answer? Oh,
Yes, I am the U.S. representative that is claiming to have talked to.
oh, welcome.
And I met with him last week. They never talked to us. I called him to see if I could talk to him when I was in Chuuk last week.
You were the one they said they met, right?
I'm the one that they're quoting that they negotiated with the U.S. So
there you are.
I called him up and made an appointment to talk to him. And walked into the office and anyway, various things. I just made very clear, this is an internal matter for the Federated States of Micronesia. U.S. can't interfere with internal affairs, but we, hope for a peaceful resolution among your own people to decide self-determination, blah, blah, blah. Other than generalized UN standards of, conduct. And then I asked him, by the way, have you contacted, in the 2.5 years of your existence, have you contacted any representatives, discussed these proposals with any representatives of the FSM government or of the United States? And he said, of course not. So now he's trying to use his meeting with me to say that he talked to the U.S. official. He didn't.
Well, thank you for confirming that because it's on Facebook that they have met the representative of the U.S. Embassy here in Philippines. And that representative, which is you, said, yeah, it is okay to negotiate with Chuuk.
So the ambassador herself answered on the Micronesian Forum website today that there has been no such contact.
Yeah. We know that, even you know that it has to come down from very top if you want to have any negotiation with Chuuk, right?
And there's such a thing as good faith that she will communicate.
Thank you.
So, can all of you go out on Facebook tonight and say, what are you going to say? Not just say, it is confirmed that you folks have not approached the United States government, nor the FSM government formally. They have not approached us formally on this question, nor the United States. So, we're just playing from the side, but not within the field, so to speak. Two more questions before we leave.
This is a if question. If Chuuk does become independent, what will happen to the Chuukese in the mainland?
What will happen to what?
The Chuukese that are in the U.S.
Quite frankly, we don't know because the representative of the U.S. government just mentioned they have never talked with representative from the Commission. Unless we hear from the United States, we cannot second guess what's going to happen. My guess, the United States will always say, you already have a compact. You want a third compact? It doesn't make sense. The United States and the FSM, Chuuk is part of the FSM. We already have an ongoing compact of free association agreement. And I don't think the United States is going to we have a representative of the United States. If I said something wrong, just jump in, free to jump. So I don't know what's going to happen. But why move on this and put our people of Chuuk in the United States on the verge of high blood and whatever you call it? Nobody knows. Quite frankly, nobody knows. One last question, because they're kicking us out from the library. There is also still.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. I think I'm very pleased with the outcome of the meeting, and people should vote no and please stay united. It's better to stay united than to stay divided.
United we stand, divided we fall. Okay?
Okay.
One last question, louder.
Right, okay, so you said that you didn't, the reason why there hasn't been a move made is because they haven't formally presented you with this idea. So my question is, what process would happen if they did come forward?
What process?
What would
If they
happen?
formally? Thank you. If they write me a letter, I'll just say thank you and then continue with the, what do you call it? The task force. But the lawyer already told us that it is too premature for us to file a lawsuit, because that's the last thing we want to do. But to prepare the nation to respond to this separation, we respond in a way that unity is our business. We must promote unity. And me and the task force will be going down to Chuuk. I think your teachers can allow you to skip class and go at your own expense down to Chuuk and join us to campaign. Of course, you're not going to go down to Chuuk, but please, on March 3rd, you, your families, your friends, and your friends on Facebook, tell them this is something that they think it's going to happen. It's possible to happen. That what they're saying here, which is very not funny but rather ironic. They said, "Why United States is our best friend? FSM is our enemy." Imagine, that's what they say. They criticize the FSM for having piled up some money from fishing, but we also set aside some of this money for trust fund, FSM trust fund. But we have problem with the second compact. It is too restrictive, and we're still not prepared for it. The first compact was squandered. The money came, we help ourselves, and what developed? Not much. So we became serious and make things a little bit restrictive. And they don't say, this thing is too restrictive, but always continue to point fingers at the FSM. You guys are piling up money, why not give us some money? Well, I'd rather pile up some money for beyond 2024 and beyond. So they said, our friend is United States because we want to negotiate the compact, immigration and so forth. I said, it's about time you become friends of the United States. In as far as the implementation of the compact is concerned. But we all have to comply to the terms of the compact, which then we accept. United States accept and we accept. It is difficult, but nevertheless that's the compact. Never mind. Please vote no on March 3rd from 7 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Okay? Anybody who's thinking of not voting? Stomachache? Yes, vote. Thank you. I know you all are going to vote no on March 3rd. It's very serious business. If we lose, honestly, if we lose, they're gonna move to the next step. And then what we're gonna do? We're gonna respond, file a restraining order. Waste of time and waste of money.
Okay, since we don't
Thank
have
you.
any more questions and we're running out of time, on behalf of the College of Micronesia FSM, which is the only national public higher institution here in the country, we are very pleased on behalf of our acting president of the Chimay and all the students and staff here at the college. We want to thank all of you, His Excellency Mori, Attorney Joseph Gallen, Executive Director Patrick McKenzie from Norma, Honorable Secretary Rita Skilling from the Health Department, our Honorable Lauren Robert from Foreign Affairs. And we have our special guest from the Pohnpei AG office, Attorney General office, and from the Australian Embassy. Everyone, and we're always promoting these kind of conversations here at, on our campus, and we're always pleased to invite any other forums that the community has. So thank you and have a good day. And students, staff, faculty, you know what to do on the ballot? What do you vote on? Yes or no? No. Firstly, it's because it's illegal, right? That's what you got out from this discussion. Secondly, FSM Constitution is the supreme law above all other laws here in the nation, above state and national. Okay? Okay.